Hey there, chatters. I'm Nat.
And I'm Kat, and welcome to the Crime Chat. I am your forensic femme fatale. Natalie is your true crime-addict connoisseur.
We're just two normal girls obsessed with dark crimes, evil minds, and occasionally the unknown.
And here's your disclaimer, chatters. The following crime chat will contain adult content, and it will have some descriptions of some very mysterious, violent scenarios, so your listener discretion is advised.
You've been warned. And before we get into today's crime chat, Kat, what shenanigans have you been up to?
You know, still catching my breath.
Mm-hmm.
Breathe again. I was suckered into watching Bridgerton, the new season. Have you ever watched any of that?
It started.
Okay.
And I turned it off.
Okay.
It was too outlandish. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I have not watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
I have watched bits and pieces when Chris has been watching it. And some of it's pretty, like, scandalous and, bringing you kind of in and everything. Not my typical show.
No, we need zombies. Throw a zombie in there. I'll watch it all day.
I mean, Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. Perfect. It's one of my favorites. Did you know that was a book first?
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't know that. It's on my list. It's on my read list.
So that's actually, I'm not a romance girl. Like, I don't like romance. I hate Hallmark. Like, I'm just not.
Ew, icky.
I'm all into the horror.
Gross.
When I went to college, like, I read multiple times Jane Austen's books. And her book, Pride and Prejudice, was always, like, my favorite. And then they came out with the movie version with Keira Knightley. Oh, my God. I put that on repeat. It was so flipping good.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. And there was no, like, a kissy or anything. Like, there was only one kiss, and it was at the last scene of the movie.
Yeah.
It was that good. It was written that well.
I think the same for Pride, Prejudice, and Zombie, too.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think it was just the one kiss at the end. Which apparently is very close to, and I've never read or seen Pride and Prejudice. So I have
such a great movie. Such
zero
a great
knowledge
story.
other than, like, knowing of it. But, yeah, so I got suckered into Bridgerton. It's okay. It's just not my jam.
Yeah.
I
mean, people are really into it because, I mean, they got great outfits and amazing hair.
Yeah.
And I can see people, like, just jumping into that fantasy. But
what I will say probably my favorite part about that, if I had to pick a favorite part, is, like they had the balls and these big, elaborate, fancy things. And at the time you hosted a ball, you were to do, right? You were somebody, right? So especially if the queen were to come to your ball.
Right.
And I will say the music that they play during those scenes where they're dancing and everything like that, it's all orchestra, but they play modern songs.
Ooh, really?
Like,
okay.
I want to say they played Wrecking Ball.
Okay.
And, like, you can pick up the tune, and it's done so well, but they're doing, like, the old, Victorian era dances and everything to this modern song that's played by an orchestra.
Yeah,
cool.
People love it.
Yeah.
I know. But
we got a couple of episodes of Hijack back in. Watching The Pit. Watched the latest episode last night. So good. And the last thing I did was I just finished reading As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner for my literature class. Okay, so I had to read it several times because the first time I was like, what the fuck is going on? Then I did, like, some Googles going, okay, what is, like, in this part, what does this mean?
Yeah.
And then I kind of reread it, and then I reread it. It's fascinating.
Is it?
It was written in 1930, so it's almost 100 years old.
Okay. And
it has a point of view from 15 different characters' point of view going over the same type of scene-ish, but it's from somebody else's point of view. And there's just a lot of allusion. There's a lot of metaphors and different things that the more I read it, the more I was like, this is fantastic. No wonder why it's like a literary piece of work, like art. So, As I Lay Dying, and I'm going to try not to die during this episode because I'm getting sick. Try not to, like, cough or... yeah, no. I have to wipe my nose. Anyway, that's it. About you?
Not really much. I am in the middle of playing, I told you about the Resident Evil Requiem.
Right.
Number 9 is out. So I'm in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Stuck in a place. I'm stuck.
You're stuck.
Yeah. You would be really good at this game. You really need to try it. Like,
Yeah.
you've got a PlayStation 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably would recommend Resident Evil 4 for you.
Okay.
Remastered.
Mm-hmm.
Because not only does it give you the zombies that you love, but it also sprinkles in a heavy dose of puzzle breaking and riddles. And on top of you being attacked, no, you would be very good. You would be very good at cracking the code and it's all military based.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really cool, like how they do it. But yeah, I think you should give it a try. You really should.
I really want to.
If you can get past running from the zombies, I think, yeah, because that's what gets me stuck.
Yeah.
Gets me stuck are all the. Like, okay, so like you enter into a room. Like this is the situation I'm in from three days ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the house, well, the station, police station. I enter into a room and the game always does this. It always does this. So it's like, here's the lock that you need to open. It's right in front of you, right?
Yeah.
Full knowing that in order to get through that door, I have to backtrack 10 steps because whatever door they give you, they're telling you basically, now turn around, go face all the horror you just faced because you missed something.
Yeah, you missed the key.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
So you're backtracking and you're dying.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Oh, man.
But Leon Kennedy is our star. Now, I know you don't know the lore, but Leon Kennedy, we've got some real like OGs of this game because it's been coming out for like years.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So Leon Kennedy was the cute young cadet that was the night that Raccoon City had the outbreak. So he was coming onto the job, right?
Oh,
and he was going to the police station, and then the outbreak happened, and like he's like maybe 20 something, and he's your kind of lead character from that point.
Yeah.
And then bringing it all, and he's made other ones, like he's in Resident Evil 4, and like he's made appearances. But now, in this new one, he comes back as a playable player, and he is 51. So they did not keep him this young, like they literally aged him up. But he is so hot. I mean, he is like, right now, if you go on YouTube and search him, you're going to see everybody just like swooning over Leon Kennedy because he's a hottie. Yeah. And he looks better at 51 than he did at 20.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me, the other day I was flipping through some, social media or whatnot, and I came across a video of Matthew Lillard.
Who is?
He was in Scream. He was the one who was like, I think I'm dying, man.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay.
He was Shaggy in Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
And was in She's All That and a bunch of other stuff. Anyway, he's coming back for Scream 7.
Is he?
The one that's getting ready to come out.
Okay.
He's not, because he had a TV falling on his head. So he died in the first one. But it's interesting to see how they're going to use him to come back. So he couldn't tease too much into what, because obviously it's not out yet. However, what the interview was about was, it was on E! News, so entertainment news, and it was basically the last 30 years of Matthew Lillard in his interviews with E! So he's like analyzing himself based on like the movies he's playing and like during certain interviews. And there was one where he was on it must have been like a movie premiere or something. He's like walking down the red carpet and he keeps sticking his tongue out and he's going, ah, ah. And he's looking back at himself 30 years later going, what the fuck am I doing? Like, why am I doing that?
Yeah.
I'm a 20-something-year-old or whatever. I think he said he was 56 now. But they did a really good job kind of lighting his kind of career because you really don't know who he is. Some people like don't. Like if they see it, it's one of those like if you see his face, you're like, oh, okay, I've seen him in something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's more popular now at the age of 56. Even as popular as Scream was, he said, because like his career kind of took off and then it just like flatlined. Not like flatlined, not like dead, but it was stagnant. And it's only recently that when all of these new Scream movies come in, people start to go back and they watch the original. And he's like, people see me now and they're like, oh, you're Matthew Lillard. And he's like, I never would have thought people would have said that about me. It was just a really good interview. He's got a great personality.
That's awesome. I know they're coming out. They just released the trailer for Scary Movie 6.
Oh, did they?
Yes, they did. The Wayne brothers are back. I love the Wayne brothers. Like,
Hey.
love them. Yeah, so
Okay.
they're back. And nobody does a better spoof on Scream than the Scary Movie ones.
No, I agree.
Well, Kat, for your intro today, you wanted to know, how did people manage to be mysterious before the internet existed?
Yeah.
So that was pretty vague, because we all know how that happens, but let's get into it. I pulled a couple of reasons why.
Okay.
And the vagueness. So believe it or not, there was a time when criminals didn't have to worry about Google security cameras on every corner, or even someone digging up their entire life story in 10 minutes. Now, back then, if you moved to a new town and said your name was, hey, I'm Steve today, and I'm coming from up north, most people would look at you and say, hey, nice to meet you, Steve.
Yeah.
No one was checking Facebook, searching court records online. You gotta love those sites.
Oh, yeah.
Or trying to cancel you on the internet for something that you did in 1987. No.
See, there was no evidence for us back then.
No.
There's no evidence
Thank God.
for those things.
Thank God. Mostly because, the internet did not exist back then. I mean, it did exist. When I was in college, I did use the internet, but the access to the cell phones was not there.
Right. I mean, the record for cell phones was not there.
Right. So if somebody had a questionable past, it was a lot easier to just pack it up, move somewhere new, and start over like nothing happened. And solving crimes worked a little differently too, mostly because the technology investigators relied on simply did not exist yet.
Right.
Now, here's a few things investigators faced back then. Number one, no database, no problem. Before the internet, police departments didn't share information the way they do today. Most records were written on paper and stored in filing cabinets in each police station. So if someone committed crimes in several states, there was no quick way for investigators to compare the cases and see the patterns. So basically, a criminal can move to a new state and create new problems.
Yeah.
Not exactly great for solving crimes, but still gave us detectives like Sherlock Holmes and Elliot Ness. So we did. I mean, back then they were bangers back then. Those detectives worked their butt off with their little with the pen. Columbo. Come on. Yeah. We just don't have them like that.
One more thing. the Columbo line.
Right. You got to put your head on your forehead.
Just one more thing.
One more. Yeah. God, love him. Okay. Number 2, fake identities were much easier. Before digital records, using fake names was a lot easier. There was no online background checks, no searchable databases, and no quick way to confirm who somebody really was. If a person moved to a new town and said their name was something else, most people just believed them. And, there really wasn't a simple way to prove otherwise. Number 3, missing person cases were harder to connect. Today, missing person cases can be entered into a system like the National Crime Information Center. So police across the country can do, some investigation and see if there's any patterns across state lines.
Right.
But for years, cases stayed often local. If someone disappeared in one state and, another person disappeared in another, they weren't connecting those dots and they didn't know it was the same person. So it really took investigators a really long time to draw those lines. You really had to be zoned into it to really see the pattern. And then you had to be really good at proving that there is a pattern. And then for your superior to kind of cross the line and say, hey,
to see that pattern.
we want to work with you about, or maybe calling the FBI to do so.
Yeah.
Number 4, DNA didn't even exist. So today, DNA is one of the most...
existed.
It existed. We just didn't know about it yet. So it's one of the most powerful tools today in solving crimes. But DNA testing wasn't used in criminal cases until the late 1980s. Before that, investigators relied on fingerprints, witness statements, and other evidence that wasn't always clear. Now, old cases can be reopened using DNA systems like the Combined DNA Index System. But back then, they didn't have that. So, I mean, they had their job cut out for them back then. Number 5, cameras were rare. Thank God. Okay. Today, cameras are almost everywhere. Stores, traffic lights, parking lots, and even people's front doors. Oh my God. Oh my God. So remember when my car was stolen a couple of years back?
Yeah.
So when I reported that and the cop came to where my car was last, because I called them by the spot where I parked it last.
Yeah.
They showed up and the kid, not kid, but like he was very young officer. He's like, when was the last time you had your car? And I'm like, oh, I went to work yesterday. He's like, oh, you work in Inglewood. I'm like, how do you know that? He's like, oh, because I have a picture of your car coming through Inglewood from the day before from the traffic. Not that I ran a red light. I didn't. No. They just had that. They were able to pull it.
Yep.
Saying like, where was this last 24 hours of this car? And I guess he was checking that I truly had my car. And it was
verifying
crazy.
Your story.
Yeah, it was crazy. I'm like, how do you know that? That's crazy. Watching me. Yeah. They are watching you.
They are. Always watching.
I know. Decades ago, cameras were more or less common. If a crime happened, investigators usually had to depend on eyewitnesses instead of video, which means in a lot of cases came down to what people remembered seeing. And memory is, it's subjective. What is it when you're suggesting something like they had a red coat on, right?
Oh, leaning question.
Yeah, like
leading people into some, yeah.
And people will do that. They're like, oh, yeah, you know what? I did remember a red coat. Did you, though? Yeah. So memory is not perfect. There's another term for it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And our final one, the film it first problem. So now I added this one because I feel like this is important to say, like, even though we have all this technology today, which makes solving crimes easier and mysterious things that happen less mysterious because we can kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
There is a problem with that. Like, now that we're here, okay, today almost everybody has a camera in their pocket. Phones can record video instantly, which can help solve crimes later. But there's also a strange side effect. Sometimes when something bad happens, people nearby pull out their phones and start recording instead of helping the victim or using that same phone and calling 911.
Right?
Videos of fights, robberies, assaults often end up online in minutes before police are even notified, which is disturbing, just to get views or attention. Now, in some cases, footage does help police identify suspects.
Sure.
But it also raises an uncomfortable question. When something terrible is happening right in front of you, should your first instinct be to record it rather than help the person that needs it?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about you, but my instinct at no given time is to pull out my phone and record.
Well, okay. I would say normally no. But my neighbors, okay, as they, come yelling and screaming at each other. The one time my husband actually called the police because she was slamming his car door and he went in the car, picked her up and threw her down on the ground. And we're like, oh, okay. Right. Most of the time it's just yelling and screaming and everything like that. The cops have been to their house so many times that there have been a couple occasions when I hear them. We've got a camera that kind of looks out on our front lawn and they're right across the street. You can hear it. Yeah. Like when they're outside and yelling and everything like that. Something's going to happen. You know what I mean? And it's at that point right now. The police have been called so many times. What can you do? Yeah.
But that's a situation that you've thought about. You've premeditated how you would
show something.
Record that. Right. If you're going to call the police, that takes some strategy.
Yeah. So I would say not normally, but in that situation, I have found myself I have to record something because something is going to happen. You know what I mean? And they're out in the street or in the driveway. It's public view because I have a camera on my house.
Right.
Although the other day they were blocking the road. She was on one side of the road. He was on the other side of the road with his car. And he's out of his car yelling at her inside of her car. And I'm like, y'all are blocking the road. What if somebody comes, because we live right on a corner, people, namely both of them, come flying around that corner, could hurt somebody. I don't know. It's just you just see something bad is going to happen.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's, I would do the same thing. I would definitely but if you're walking in Walmart, I don't know why I say Walmart because crazy shit happens in Walmart all the time. So you're walking in Walmart and then the person 2 steps in front of you falls or, there's immediate reaction confrontation with somebody else. Is your first instinct to get your phone out, search for your camera
Yeah.
hit the record button, make sure it's not on photo. You got to put it on video.
Yep.
That to me is so disconnected from reality. Not to mention, you got to love the people that not only record, but flip the camera around to show their reaction while the situation is happening. I just don't find it. Like, I just find that so disturbing.
I'm like, new level of, we talked about with the Kitty Genovese, there was a lot of people that heard things, like heard her screaming and just didn't want to get involved. Yeah. They're getting involved, but not wanting to get involved.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there is going to be a law that gets passed eventually. If something really, really terrible happens while somebody's recording and they had an opportunity to be a good Samaritan to, if I'm telling you, something's going to happen where the law is going to come down saying that if you hit record, if you were like, if you had the opportunity to help somebody and you didn't,
you let them die. It's like negligent homicide or something.
Oh my God.
Like you let them die.
It's happening too often. So, no.
Mm-mm. Well, did I tell you, when I was in Virginia a couple weeks ago, I flipped over a grocery cart.
You were mad?
No. Oh. I flipped over a grocery cart.
Physically?
Physically.
Did you tuck and roll afterwards? Like, how did that... did you stick the landing cap? Did you stick it?
I did not stick the landing. It was one of those shorter ones where it's got like a top and a bottom layer. You know what I mean? So it's like, it wasn't the big cart.
Okay.
And it was the day that we got that really bad snowstorm. So I was stocking up on things.
Okay.
Because I was going to be in my hotel room stuck. Okay. So it was a Harris Teeter, and there wasn't any like of those carousels for the carts in the parking lot. Okay. So I was like, you know what? I'll be nice. I'll go run this back up to the store. Mm-hmm. Well, the ramp that goes up onto the sidewalk to like go back into the store, you know how some of them have like the anti-slip concrete like bubbles? I don't know how to stubbles on it. Okay. So from the ramp to the sidewalk was a good inch. And my momentum was too much to control. And I hit that little gap. Oh. And I flipped over the cart.
Did somebody help you? Did somebody film you?
Nobody filmed me. Okay. That's what you reminded me. But my first thought was, oh my God, whoever watches this is going to die laughing. Oh my God. And I ended up, my palms were bruised. Yeah. And like I tweaked my wrist. So I was thinking like maybe I jammed it or something. But when I landed, I kind of I rolled it onto my back and I'm just looking up, dying laughing. Yeah. Like I'm looking up and then I see like these three women and a couple, like one of the women had some kids with her. So like I'll come over. This one lady goes, when you fell, I was thinking you were an older lady, but I see that you're young. But do you want help up? Oh my! I'm just sitting in there, just like dying laughing. Well, the first thing she's like, "Are you okay?" You know, I was like, "Yes." I'm just laughing at myself, and I laughed, and I still laugh about it because it was one of those things where like I'm in slow motion, and it's like, no, it's happening.
That's pretty funny.
So that was my story of fear that my
broke your ass
was caught on camera, and I'm sure I made somebody laugh, but nobody the people that came to help me were very nice, and somebody might have been recording from afar, but I just laughed. And then on the way back to the hotel, I was like, oh, I think I really did something to my wrist, but It's fine. I just jammed it. Anyway, but thank you for that. That was a really good background because it's kind of setting up for that time frame that we're looking at for the story that we're going to do today. Mm-hmm. It comes from a time where you could apparently show up in a country with no ID, no labels on your clothing, no wallet, and somehow remain unidentified for more than 70 years. 70.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about one of the most famous unidentified person cases in the world, a mystery involving a dead man on a beach, a cryptic scrap of paper, possible link to Cold War espionage, and eventually, decades later, DNA science solving his identity. Yeah. But we'll get to it. Yeah. And this case has everything. Secret codes, missing suitcase labels, suspicious poetry, and Australians collectively saying, crikey, what on earth is going on? That was horrible. Sorry. Well, we're going to walk through the mystery, the theories, and then the moment when modern genetic genealogy finally gave us the name to the Somerton Man. I've been wanting to do this story for a while, and I just didn't have the mental capacity to put it together because it's so much. And even now, there's things that I'm not going into every single detail just because it's so well known. But chatters, grab a cup of coffee. Maybe don't fall asleep on the beach. So our story begins December 1st, 1948, in Adelaide, Australia, at a place called Somerton Beach. Warm weather, ocean breeze, nice place for a stroll. Remember, they're in the southern hemisphere, so their December is their summer. And early that morning, police received a report about a man lying on the sand near a seawall. People had actually noticed him the night before. Several witnesses said that they saw a well-dressed man lying against the seawall, kind of propped up like he was relaxing. One couple even noticed him raising his arm and then letting it drop.
Oh.
Which they assumed he was drunk and he was falling asleep.
But he might have been alive, right? He was alive.
Well,
maybe.
If he's raising his own hand and dropping it, I would think he was alive at the time.
Mystery.
But honestly, this feels like a very 1948 reaction. Ah, yes. That man hasn't moved for hours. He must be sleeping it off.
Right.
By morning, something was very clear. The man was dead. So police quickly recognized some strange things about his appearance. He was well-groomed, wearing a pressed suit, a tie, and a polished pair of shoes. So let me just point out that he was wearing this on the beach. Not typical beach attire.
No.
Right?
No.
So even stranger, his clothes had all identifying labels removed. Every label from his clothing had been cut out with precision.
It's weird.
Very. No name, no laundry marks, nothing. So when doctors performed the autopsy, things got even stranger. They could not find a clear cause of death. No obvious injuries, no poison detected with the testing methods at the time. However, the pathologist who suspected poisoning, it was probably a substance that couldn't be detected in 1948. And this is what basically launched decades of speculation. The thing is, whenever police investigate unidentified persons, the first thing they do is check the pockets. And what they found added even another level of mystery. Inside his pockets, a comb, a bus ticket, and a train ticket, a pack of gum, a box of matches and cigarettes. And another twist, months later, investigators discovered a hidden pocket sewn into his pants.
Yeah.
And inside was a teeny tiny little piece of paper. And on that paper, 2 words, Tamám Shud. Do you remember this?
Yes.
Yeah. So the phrase Tamám Shud is actually Persian. It translates roughly to ended or finished, like the end.
Yeah.
It was the last 2 words in a book called the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. Nailed it. Already kind of ominous. Investigators did trace that Tamám Shud wording to the Rubaiyat.
Okay.
But here's the question. Where did the paper come from? Because somebody had to have torn the page out of the book.
Right.
Which made it even weirder. But police started to think of something pretty clever for 1948. They made a public announcement asking if anybody owned a copy of the Rubaiyat with a final page missing.
Right.
And they're literally literary police at this time didn't get it. Sorry, I had to throw a word nerd joke in there. Okay. Well, eventually, a man came forward. And this part of the story feels too strange to be real, but he told police that months earlier, he parked his car near Somerton Beach. And when he checked in the back seat of his own car, he found a copy of the Rubaiyat that did not belong to him.
Ooh.
Which immediately raises questions like, how does a random poetry book appear in your car? According to the man, someone must have thrown it in through the open window while the car was parked.
Okay.
When investigators examined the book, they discovered the final page had been torn out, and that torn edge matched the Tamám Shud paper that was found sewn into the Somerton Man's hidden pocket.
Wow. That's such a weird thing. That's so weird.
It is. Well, it links this mystery man directly to this book, but it still doesn't explain how the book ended up in this other man's car.
Right.
And even more ominous, the back of the book contained 2 other critical pieces. 1, A series of strange letters arranged like a code that read WRGOABABD MLIAI WTBIM PAN ETP MLIABOAIQCITTMTSSAMSTGAB. Now, this either looks like somebody fell asleep on a keyboard or it was a spy code, which of course immediately aroused people, got excited.
Yeah.
And remember, this was 1948.
Mm-hmm.
People went full Cold War thriller on this theory.
Mm-hmm.
You know, questions began to surface. Was the Somerton Man a spy? Did the code contain secret information? Was the poison something used by intelligence agencies? None of those questions are too far-fetched for that era.
Right.
And Adelaide happened to be close to a major military testing facility, which meant speculation exploded. Police even consulted military code experts, but no one was able to definitively crack it. Meaning the code, if it is a code, in fact, remains unsolved to this day. In that little poetry book, the Rubaiyat became one of the most famous pieces of evidence in mystery history.
Wow.
The second thing that came from this book, a woman known publicly only with the pseudonym Justin. In 1949, police discovered that the phone number written in the back of the Rubaiyat belonged to a nurse who lived a short distance from where the Somerton Man's body had been found. Do you remember this theory?
I do.
Yeah. So when investigators questioned her, she admitted that she had once owned a copy of the same book of poetry and had given it to a man years earlier during World War II. Mm-hmm. However, she denied knowing the dead man on the beach and insisted she had no connection to the case. She has since been identified, by the way.
She has? Okay, because that's so totally plausible. Like, you could get the book from a library, and you know how people, like, do things to library books, like write it on them and stuff. So that's, I don't know.
Well, from detectives present who were in this interview, the nurse was shown a plaster cast of the Somerton Man's face. She appeared visibly shocked and nearly fainted before quickly regaining her composure. Despite that reaction, she maintained she did not recognize him. I have a picture of the plaster cast, too.
Yeah, why? That seems like a suspicious reaction.
Your physiological reactions don't match your verbal responses.
You just don't faint for no reason.
Right. Well, police ultimately did accept her statement, though many investigators privately believe she knew more than what she was willing to say. Mm-hmm. So to protect her privacy and possibly her reputation, authorities allowed her identity to remain confidential, referring to her only by the nickname Justin. But for decades, nothing could be proven, and the man remained unidentified. Fast forward 70 plus years. So for decades, the Somerton Man was one of the world's most famous cold cases. That is, until modern science finally stepped in, specifically genealogy. The same type of technique used to identify suspects like the Golden State Killer. Scientists extracted DNA from a preserved hair sample taken from the Somerton Man. So when they buried him, they actually had the foresight to keep some of his hair.
Wow.
Which, I mean, for that time, knowing that, okay, this is part of this person, maybe sometime in the future, scientifically, we'll be able to do something with it. So they had that forethought. Mm-hmm. When the technology became available, they uploaded the DNA profile to genetic genealogy databases to search for distant relatives. And this part is wild. Researchers built an enormous family tree working through thousands of possible relatives. And eventually the DNA pointed to a man named Charles Webb. Charles, or Carl, his name is Carl Charles Webb, but he goes by Charles or Charlie. He was born in 1905 in Melbourne, Australia. From what researchers have pieced together, he worked as an electrical engineer or technician, which in the early 20th century was actually pretty skilled, pretty respectable profession. Wow. Think of coming off of the industrial boom and everything like that. But Webb's personal life appeared to have been a little more complicated. Records suggested that he married a woman named Dorothy Robertson in the 1940s. However, their relationship didn't last for very long. Again, another layer of the mystery. Because investigators later discovered that Webb seemed to have disappeared from records sometime around the late 1940s. And his wife later reported that he had left the home, she hadn't heard from him again, and found this news clip too that says, "Charles Webb, if you're out there, your wife has filed for divorce for abandonment." It was a newspaper clipping. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Well, the time that he went missing and the time this went out there lines up pretty eerily with the timing of the Somerton Man's death in 1948. Another strange detail. Researchers noticed that Webb was known to be very private. Not many photographs of him existed, and he seemed to keep a fairly low profile socially. And especially for the time, it was a lot easier to do. Honestly, it could sound exactly like someone who might be accidentally getting wrapped up in a spy mystery, maybe. Or just someone who was private and disappeared. You know, things were bad at home, and he decided, I'm just going to go start a new life somewhere else, you know? So even though DNA gave us his name, questions still remain. Why were his clothing labels removed? What caused his death? Poisoning, if it was poison, what was it? What did the code mean? And of course, who wrote the mysterious letters? But it also could be why it took so long to identify him. If someone didn't leave a paper trail or have close relatives actively searching for them, it becomes harder to kind of connect the dots, right? If nobody's looking for you.
Yeah. Aw.
The only thing I was able to find is that, divorce announcement.
That's sad. Yeah.
But what makes this case incredible is how modern science solved a majority of the mystery that stumped investigators for decades. It's also a reminder that unidentified people are not just mysteries, they're real people with real lives and families. And remember, investigators in 1948 didn't have DNA databases, genealogy websites, or digital records. They were relying on fingerprints, dental records, newspaper appeals, and if nobody recognized him, the trail just simply went cold.
Yeah.
But after more than 70 years, the Somerton Man finally got his name back, Charles Webb. The discovery of Justin's phone number in the Rubaiyat book only deepened the speculation surrounding the case, and some researchers later theorized that Webb may have attempted to contact her shortly before his death. Others wondered whether this coded letter found in the book were somehow connected to her or a hidden message only meant for her to understand. While modern DNA research has likely solved the question of the man's identity, the exact nature of this connection, if any, to this mysterious nurse remains one of the biggest mysteries. But in the end, the case surrounding Charles Webb is still as mysterious as ever, but he is no longer forgotten. So, Nat, remember, if you ever plan to become an international spy, maybe don't leave poetry clues in your pocket. Just a suggestion.
Who says I'm not one already? And I'm going to be, it's clues. Oh my God. I would definitely leave it would be like figuring out my death in this situation would be something like the Da Vinci Code movie. Like you would be searching Italy. You'd be like, Natalie left me an apple. Okay. Natalie did it. Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question though.
Yeah.
Is it possible that he just went to the beach to die, to commit suicide?
Sure.
And maybe he did take a poison and he just prepared his body as almost like a mystery. Maybe, because there are creative people in the world that, maybe he loved that book or something and he created the situation for us. Like he before he prepared himself to go to the beach, he cut the tags out. Yeah. He sewed in that little letter. He did all these things.
Cut the paper out and threw the book in the strange man's car.
Right. Before on his way to the beach. Yeah. Like, could it be that he just decided that's the way he wanted to go out?
Possibly.
It's a shame that we don't know why he died. Like,
So I saw some of his old family pictures once they were able to identify him. And Professor Derek Abbott is the one that actually did the DNA, did this investigation. Able to go back and at the bottom of a trunk, in these old family photos, the pictures of him younger. He looks like a happy guy. It doesn't mean that he's not happy. Maybe whatever happened in his marriage or, maybe he got fired from his job. Maybe, something else happened. They're still working on kind of backtracking now that they know who he is. But it's been 70 years, right? There's,
I know. They did have a theory at one point because they had pictures of his body that they thought he was a dancer.
Yes.
Like they thought he was a ballet dancer or something because he had these particular calf muscles that can only be,
Yes.
you have to be able to dance or ballet or something, which was entirely wrong.
His physique gave the impression that he was, some dancer.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I mean, honestly, you see a picture of him, he's a handsome guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a Webb family gathering, and he is he's in the back, and his brother-in-law is like patting him on the head in this picture. It's kind of cute. Mm-hmm. But it's just like a family reunion kind of like, and then there's this other picture with grandma and grandpa, Charlie and his brother, Roy. So much time has passed that really you only have distant relatives left.
Yeah.
But thank goodness some of them held on to like these family, gatherings from the 1930s, 1940s, like 100 years old.
Yeah. That's so sad. Yeah. Rest in peace, Charles.
There's more details to it. The Justin identity, her name is Jenny Thompson. Mm-hmm. And I want to say it was her sister was either related to or there's some link to his ex-wife, Dorothy Robertson. There was some kind of connection that was in there between this nurse. And so maybe he was trying to get a hold of her while he was in town, maybe wanting to give her something. But why deny it? Like, unless you just don't want to get involved.
Yeah.
Like, why not say...
Maybe. I mean, that's believable back then. I mean, no offense. I love how they describe her reaction. Yeah. Because how else would you describe a woman besides being faint? Like, she's fainting. I know.
Oh,
so, I don't know. I know.
I'm thinking Bridgerton right now.
I know. That's crazy. That's a great story, though. Thank you for doing that.
It's just super weird. There's a lot more to it, but I tried to hit on like the key pieces. Mm-hmm. With the Rubaiyat, the Tamám Shud paper that was ripped out, the labels that were missing.
Yeah.
How that all kind of linked in together. I did try to pull a little bit more of that like genealogy, like family tree that they built, and I can't get to it. All these websites want me to pay for something.
Man, I know. Too bad you can't, they don't have like a picture of it, like an easy...
I tried. Yeah. In the because you get that little thumbnail.
Yeah.
And when I tried to save it, it's too blurry because it's too small. Mm-hmm. And so when you go to the site, they're like, you have to pay for it. And I was just like,
oh.
Just because it's interesting. It's I like genealogy. Anyways, as much as we've talked about it, it's fascinating. Yeah. It's fascinating.
It is.
So, now that's your story. That's the mystery of the Somerton Man that still remains mystery. Still mysterious. We know who he is, but that's just kind of the first part. I watched a video when I was doing the story of a lady once they were able to identify him and how it's really just kind of opened up more questions. Now we know who he is. Okay, how did he get there? What was he doing? But it's been so long. I don't know that we'll ever have an answer.
Probably not. But at least he has a name now. At least, we know who he is. So I think that's enough. Rest in peace.
Charles Webb.
Yes. No, great story. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, we wouldn't dream of leaving you hanging. For more chilling details and twists in this case and many others, check out After That Crime Chat, available exclusively on our Patreon. And you'll have all this, right? The pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Got a ton of pictures, some newspaper clippings, and... There's been several books and podcasts and all kinds of things. Our Ghoul Boys, Brian and Shane, did an episode and a follow-up episode on it, by the way. Oh, speaking of, real quick, I just watched one of their ghost files, but they did an investigation. They put the video out, and then their debrief, the ghost files debrief, they do live, and I caught it the other day. And I was so excited.
Did you jump on? Be like, hey.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. I was up in the chat and I was talking and everything. I was making dinner at the same time, but they didn't ask my question. But that's okay. There's a lot of people that were on there. Mm-hmm. It was really cool, though, to kind of catch it live.
Yes.
As part of it. But anyway, so yeah, they covered it under both BuzzFeed Unsolved and on their mystery files. They also talked about it. But don't forget to follow us on our socials, Crime Chat with Nat and Kat, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, X, and Rumble. See what we got going on.
Want more chilling content and behind-the-scenes chaos? Become a VIP chatter to our Patreon. You'll unlock bonus episodes, bloopers, exclusive sneak peeks, and even free merch. And yes, we've got some criminal goodies in the works. So support the show, feel your obsession with the weird and the wicked, and join the Crime Chat Chatter crew in style. Yay! Did it.
Nailed it. You don't want to miss our next episode. Natalie's going to bring another story for us.
Yes, I am. Yes. It's a surprise. You know
That's
how I work.
Fact.
You know how I work. You don't want to miss it regardless.
We'll see you at the next Crime Chat.
Bye.
Bye.